just to let you know, most extended warranties, I mean, odds are, if you think they're to your advantage, then they wouldn't be selling them, right? They're to the company's advantage. They make money selling those things, which means, on average, you're better off not getting them. Now, having said that, like an automobile, there's always one that's built first thing Monday morning. There's always one that's built last thing on a Friday, right? So who knows? Maybe you're that 1 or 2% where that you actually would have benefited from that extended warranty. So that's just kind of not really math, but just kind of life. Okay, A. What is the mean and it's not a good D. Standard deviation of the battery? And when I say of the battery, I mean the battery's life, right? How long does it last? Already answered one of those. B. 2 hours where? Where? Oh, why did you? I don't know. What are you asking us for? We don't know. What should the warranty be if, who makes these things? iPhones? Yeah, biggest company in the world. Biggest company in the world. Don't you wish you would have bought some shares of Apple 20 years ago? I sure do. It's the biggest company in the world. If you invested $100 in Apple, off the top of my head, 20 years ago, you'd probably have 10,000.
And you just be like, yeah.
Yeah, you sell your shares and they give you what the shares are worth, fair market value today. They wish to warranty less than 1% of all their batteries. Because they don't want to certainly warranty half of them, because then that would cost them money, wouldn't it? And businesses like Apple are in the business of making money. And Apple happens to make a lot of money. But now maybe their shares are overvalued because, you know, everybody and his dog wants Apple shares. Okay? So let's do a little graph. We're assuming this is a normal distribution. It's normally distributed. What is the mean for the battery? How long on average does it last? Yeah, we already discussed this, right? That's what this says. 50% of all the batteries last longer than 3.5 years. That's this area right here. Therefore, 50% of the batteries don't last that long. That's this area. So guess what's right in the center? That is mu, which is 3.5. Okay? So that's the mean. 3.5 years. Make sure you give units, right? If I'm in a bad mood, I might say, what does that mean? 3.5. Is that days, weeks, months, hours? That would suck if your battery lasted 3.5 hours, wouldn't it? What's the standard deviation of the battery? I don't know. But I do know 10% of the batteries last longer than 5 years. If I knew the standard deviation, I would write this other stuff in here, right? 1 standard deviation above, 1 below, 2 above, 2 below, and 3 and 3, okay? But I do know 10% of the batteries last longer than 5 years. So I don't know where that is. Let's say it's here. Okay? 10% lasts longer than 5 years. What do I do now? Well, I know there is something about some Z-score table in the back of my book, and if I look up 10% on our table, which is 0.1, should I bring this guy up? Or do I want to bring up 0.1? Because is there something that tells me anything to the right in the back of the book? So again, it doesn't say it here, but what does it say? What did I tell you yesterday? This is a table for everything to the left, remember? So that's what I want to look up. So 10%, this whole thing's 100%. What is this? All of that's going to be 90%. Yeah, that's what I got to look up in my table. I want to look up 0.9 in my table. Where's that? Here's negative stuff. I want the positive stuff. 0.9 is here. 0.90 exactly. That is 0.8159. No, I'm sorry, I got this backwards. I want to look up 0.9 in here. That's the percent. I want to get the Z number, okay? I got it backwards. So which one's closest to 0.9 here? 90%.
Right there.
That one or this one?
Oh, no.
So you got choices, right? We don't have absolutely every value in here. This one is only 0.0003 away. This one's 0.0015 away from 0.9, right? So I want this one, 0.8997. That's the closest. What is the Z number? That is in column 1.2. So it's 1.28. Okay? Everybody get it? This number right here where my little hand is, that's the closest thing to 0.9. So that the row is 1.2 and the column, you can't see where my finger is going. The column is 0.8. So 1.28. Okay? That is a Z-score of 1.28. Great. I know the mean is 3.5. Is there a little formula? Where I can figure out the standard deviation, sigma? It's right here. So I know Z, I know mu, I also know that that's a data point. 10% lasts longer than 5 years. I didn't write that. Okay, up here somewhere is 5. Okay, so Z's 1.28. X is 5. Mu is 3.5. Plug them in this formula. 1.28. X is 5. Mu is 3.5. And that's what I'm trying to find out, sigma. How do I solve that thing? Well, what's 5 minus 3.5? Yeah, 1.5. Okay, so 1.28 is 1.5 over sigma. Cross multiply. Sigma times 1.28 is 1.5. So let's divide that thing away. Okay, so sigma is 1.5 divided by 1.28. Which is a 1.17. That's the standard deviation. Okay? Not a nice whole number, but that's what it is. All right? So yeah, these are getting a little tricky, right? Don't think half of your test is going to be this, but you're going to get a couple questions on there like this. What should the warranty be if Apple wishes to warranty less than or equal to 1%? So where's that on our graph? Way over here somewhere is going to be 1%. Okay? All the ones that last longer than that, all of this stuff, we don't need to worry about. Because they'll last longer, it's not going to cost us any money. Okay? I just want to fix the ones that are less than 1%. So that's to the left on my Z table. What is that as a decimal? 0.01. Okay, so let's look up that. There's 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. I want 0.01. Here's a 0.01. But this one's closer. 0.0102, 0.0099. Which one's the closest? This one. What's the Z number? Negative 2.33. We see that? Negative 2.33. Okay? So Z is negative 2.33. Look reasonable? Between 2 and 3 standard deviations on the negative side. Okay? Okay, so that's Z. Z is x minus mu over standard deviation, which I now know. That doesn't change. I know mu. What I'm trying to find now is, what is x, right? I want to know what that number is. What kind of a warranty should I give? It's obviously less than 3.5 years. So how do I solve this for x? You guys would probably put in the numbers first, so let's do that. Z is minus 2.33. X, I don't know. Mu, 3.5. Sigma is 1.17. Okay, how do I solve that sucker? Let's times both sides by 1.17, or you can think of that as cross multiplying. That's gone. 1.17 times negative 2.33 is negative 2.7261. Is x minus 3.5. Now what do I got to do? Add 3.5 to both sides. So x is, what is that? Plus 3.5. 0.77 what?
4.
No, what I'm saying is, what is that as a unit? 0.77. What did this mean? 3.5 what? 5 what? Yeah, those are years, right? So that's what the warranty should be if they only want to fix less than 1% of them. That's years. Does that make any sense? That's just over 3/4 of a year. How many is that in months? How many months are in a year? Just over 9 months. Okay, so they're fixing more than 1% if their warranty is a year. If they only want to fix less than 1%, they should lower it down to 9 months. Do you think they actually have mathematicians there figuring this kind of stuff out for these companies? For sure. Because if they save $1 million a year, they'd gladly pay someone $100,000 to save them $1 million. Or about 9 months, because they're going to round some of these answers, okay? That says the same thing, as long as you have units. Yeah, yeah, sure, okay? But if it's a multiple choice, and all the answers are in months, well, you got to kind of know the difference, right? Okay, that's a course, people. That's all you get. Sorry, don't got no more. Now, these are some of the tricky ones, like I've said before, okay? And the whole test isn't going to be stuff like this. But if you want the A, you're going to have to know how to do a couple of these. Obviously, going to want to try them all. Okay? Who's doing a quiz now? Who missed it?